The L.R.O.C is underway at the 2025 American Speed Festival. We're meeting each of the competitors, and Laura Hayes is one of the 4 standouts from all different disciplines that are converging here on Pontiac for this event this weekend. Let's take a look at your racing background, Laura. Where are you currently racing? Where have you raced and won in the past?
Yeah, so I started racing as a little kid, started when I was 8, and I've been very lucky to drive a little bit of everything throughout the years. Most recently and notably, this year, S.R.O. GT4 America in a BMW M4 GT4, so I had a lot of fun doing that. And the last couple of years, a Pikes Peak International Hill Climb, probably my favorite thing and craziest of any race I've ever done. Yeah, so here we are today driving some radicals, a little bit different than normal for me.
We've got competitors from all across the motorsports landscape, including a multiple-time champion in a drag car. Megan Meyer is with us this weekend as well. Let's start with that. Tell us about your background and tell us about that transition to go from driving those sort of things to one of these radical beasts.
Yeah, well, you know, I don't know how to turn. I'm used to going straight, so this is a huge learning curve for me, but I'm having so much fun. I've actually wanted to drive a radical car for the last couple of years, so finally got the chance to, and I'm so excited. It's actually easier and way more comfortable than I thought it was going to be, so I'm feeling really good going into this weekend.
Open wheel oval driver turned into road course sports car driver this weekend. Taylor Ferns is here with us at the M1 Concourse. First, tell us about that background that you have, where we normally watch you racing, and how that translates, I guess, somehow into one of these cars.
Yeah, so I typically race cars completely different from this, you know, an open wheel style, but sprint cars, non-wing pavement sprint cars, and USEC Silver Crown cars. So we typically race on pavement ovals all throughout the Midwest, typically Indiana, Illinois, Ohio, Michigan. So yeah, it's been something I've been doing for a long time, and I'm really passionate about it, but I'm excited to try something new. I love challenges, and so I'm really looking forward to this opportunity. So yeah, it's been something I've been doing for a long time, and I'm really passionate about it, but I'm excited to try something new. I love challenges, and so I'm really looking forward to this opportunity.
We have one of the most experienced competitors in this field and one of the greatest women's drivers that we've seen in the last couple of decades here around the world. 5 times started the Nürburgring 24-hour, 7 times the Indianapolis 500. Pippa Mann is here with us. How excited are you to be a part of this event here at M1 this weekend?
It's so fun to be here at M1 Concourse, taking part in this weekend, driving these radicals around this racetrack. But you were talking about my accolades, but it's not just me here this weekend. We have Megan Meyer, who is a 2-time drag racing champion. We have Taylor Ferns, who was the first woman to win in a Silver Crown car. And we have Laura Hayes, the fastest woman ever up Pikes Peak Hill Climb. That's a pretty cool lineup you guys have got taking on your track this weekend in these radicals.
Getting up to speed with day 2 of the Ladies Race of Champions, all equally prepared Radical Cup cars out on the track, and that is Laura Hayes that you see on your screen. She was the quickest yesterday, set a 106.955 lap time, and was able to, by about a 1.5 seconds, pull away from Pippa Mann, who set a 106.527, so 1.57 seconds. The gap between the top 2 competitors. Laura was unbelievably good yesterday. Taylor Ferns was the 3rd quickest, about 7 seconds off that lap time. And the interesting thing, Randy, we saw with the L.R.O.C competitors yesterday is all of them got faster in the heat of the day in their second session as they continue to get more comfortable in these race cars. There really weren't anyone in the ASF Cup cars outside of a couple of different competitors that went faster in the afternoon and the morning session, but all of these ladies, as they're getting more comfortable, the tracks they've never driven on, in a car they've never been in, have been getting faster and faster. I would fully expect that Laura Hayes and the rest of the group are going to go really, really quick today, and especially this morning.
Yeah, I think you hit on it. The difference, quite frankly, is that the drivers in the ASF Cup are used to the cars, so they're just trying to gain speed, but they know the setup, they understand the feel of the car. With the Ladies Race of Champions, even Laura Hayes, this is a new car for her, even though the racing discipline she's in, she's probably more familiar with and in a recent manner than any of the drivers, and it shows. But each driver's getting faster because they're learning the car. So even if the track is a little slower, I think the gains they're making by getting more familiar and more comfortable with the car will overwhelm that fact that maybe the track is a little slower in the heat of the day. And again, I think Megan Myers and Taylor Ferns, although they're off a few seconds from Pippa Mann and Laura Hayes, those 2 drivers have gotten faster in every session, and that tells me their talent and the fact that they're learning the car and they have the ability to take advantage of that knowledge to go fast.
We just saw Pippa Mann have a bit of a moment right there, locked it up, heading into the hairpin, the right-hander at the base of the racetrack before the straightaway as she's starting to find a little bit of speed in the race car, trying to get things up to speed. L.R.O.C. Hayes in the 109 bracket, Pippa Mann in the 110 bracket as they are warming up and trying to bring the tires up to temperature, but certainly having that lock-up moment not going to help the balance of the race car for Pippa Mann, and especially, again, with cooler conditions now than what we expect in the heat of the afternoon, and Pippa having to find all of that time here to be able to erase and move ahead with the second and a half gap that she has. It's going to be critical to set a time likely here this morning. So once again, the format here is yesterday's top time, which did belong to L.R.O.C. Hayes by about a second and a half, will be added to today's top time. For all the competitors, the lowest cumulative will be the winning time out of everybody. L.R.O.C. Hayes is in the 108 bracket, a 108.975 on her last lap, a 110.922. The fast time for Pippa Mann, a little bit slower on her last lap after she had that lockup moment. Taylor Fern sitting in the 113 bracket, 113.287. So she's gotten a bit faster, about second from what Taylor was able to do yesterday. And Megan Meyer finding quite a bit of speed as well. She's down to the 114.6 bracket. So I've been, and you've mentioned this throughout the weekend, so impressed with both Megan and Taylor coming from a very, very different style of racing and adapting to a car that has downforce, a car that has to turn left and right, a new track that they each have never been on. This is a look at Megan Meyer, by the way, on the big boards and on your screen. I've been really impressed, of course, with what Laura and Pippa have been able to do, and especially Laura running away from the field with the amount of speed that she has. But for the other two, being completely foreign to this style of racing, the amount of gains that they've made, going from maybe close in some cases to being 10 seconds off the pace to now closing that gap to being just a couple seconds off as Megan Meyer loops it around in the extended right-hand carousel section of the racetrack, able to get the binders locked on just as we're talking to her, but able to save the race car right there as she was looking to push things a little bit on her best time of a 114.6, so we'll have a local yellow here on the racetrack. But still, the point stands what I was making, Randy, of so impressive to be able to step behind the wheel of a new kind of car like this and be able to show the gains that they have throughout the weekend.
You think these girls are on the edge a little bit? Holy cow. That just shows you Megan Meyer's trying to find a little bit more speed. She's back under power now and back on track. She's going to come in, probably see if maybe she flat spotted the tires or something. She's going to check the car out. But just trying to find that ragged edge and, just stepped a little bit over it. But Megan Myers will be back out, hopefully to get some more seat time in there and maybe get a little bit quicker. But L.R.O.C. Hayes has been the driver to beat all weekend.
This is Taylor Ferns that you're seeing on the screen. First female to ever win a 500 Sprint Car Tour race, hails from this part of the state of Michigan as well, from the east side. So Michigan native back home this weekend, and Taylor has been wheeling that car into a personal best for the first time. She's sub minute 13 at a 112.992. L.R.O.C. Hayes, by the way, is running down with her faster times down in the 108.284 bracket. Pippa Mann has also gone sub 109. She's at a 108.896. So still, though, it is advantage L.R.O.C. Hayes, who is still a bit off yesterday's pace. I find kind of curiously on the track temperatures for as quick as they were going in the heat of the afternoon. A little bit cooler track temps right now. Everyone is about a second or so, a little bit slower, at least in those top times with Laura and Pippa, a little bit off of what their times were yesterday. So be curious as they get those tires up to temperature and in the window for a quick run, if we're going to see those lap times potentially fall from yesterday. But I mean, Laura, I think, was about the second. She's sub 108 now, the 107.965, but she was right around the, I think, second quickest, third quickest overall lap. Only was beaten, I think, by that 296 Ferrari of Joe Cawley. She beat all the other ASF Cup competitors with similar cars as well. So you can just about put her in that unlimited car class outside of just this, standard vehicle competition here in the L.R.O.C.
And what I've noticed in your report there is that the gap between L.R.O.C. Hayes and Pippa Mann has closed. It was a second half yesterday. It's about 7/10 today. So Pippa has found some speed to gain on Laura, but because she dug herself a hole yesterday of a second and a half, she just to get back even, she's got to be a second and a half quicker today. That's a lot for her to gain with the laps already that Laura's logging in this morning.
Yeah, Laura putting in a 1:11.8 last time. She got caught up behind a little bit of traffic, so now into some clear space. Let's see what that blue Radical is going to be able to do for Laura Hayes. Moves herself into the back part of the racetrack. This is the real power part of the track as we'll ride along and watch here with Laura Hayes into the very tricky right-hander that we saw Pippa Mann have a lockup moment in a few laps ago. Takes that late apex approach and jumps on the throttle. The long back straightaway, maybe a bit of a wiggle right there, getting under the power for Laura Hayes, and she will power her way all the way down to the back part of the racetrack. A right-hander comes up after this. Not quite as tight of a braking zone as the last one that she had, but still a bit of a wide approach on this, and now makes the climb up the hill. Speaking of climbing the hill, she is the fastest woman ever up the mountain at the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb. Did that last year in a GT4 car. Winding her way into the stadium section and the extended right-hand corner. Her best time today, a 1:07.9. We'll see if Laura is going to be able to improve on it, this time by the stripe. She goes past the line. Laura Hayes this time with her fastest lap time of the day, right in that same range, this time a 1:07.93 for Laura Hayes, so she's back on the pace as we now look at Taylor Ferns. Taylor Ferns finding some big time speed today as she's been closing the gap to everyone else. She was in the 1:14 bracket yesterday. She's gone sub 1:12. Taylor a 1:11.9. Her last lap was also her fastest lap of the weekend, going past the stripe. This time she went faster yet, a 1:11.5 for Taylor Ferns, the USAC Silver Crown and 500 Sprint Car Tour competitor, getting used to turning right along with left. And boy, she is finding a lot of speed right now as she's chopped 2.5 seconds or so off of her best time from yesterday already as well out there. Pippa Mann, by the way, a 1:08.736 is her fastest time, chasing Laura Hayes' fastest today of a 1:07.9. So Laura was fastest by a second and a half yesterday, and she is fastest by a little over a second right now today as well. Only at the moment extending her grasp onto the first ever L.R.O.C championship and the $10,000 scholarship that's also handed out as a part of this award. So a big opportunity for the GT4 competitor Laura Hayes. She's already made a statement this weekend, and she's only extending that statement into the Sunday competition today. Last time going a little bit faster yet, by the way, for Laura. 1:07.4 now her best time. Pippa Mann also with her fastest of the day. A 1:08.5 is the lap time she's sitting at. Taylor Ferns a 1:11.5, and Megan Meyer going back a 1:14.2 is her quickest of the weekend. This is Laura Hayes that you once again are watching out on the 1.5-mile circuit here at the M1 Concourse right in downtown Pontiac, Michigan. The old GM truck plant that was located, turned into this really unique motorsports facility. Pippa Mann working around the racetrack. See her on the big board as Laura Hayes at the same time is flashing by the start-finish line. Was Laura able to improve her lap time this time? We'll wait and see if she was able to. She is. Laura Hayes down into the 1:07.23 bracket. So Laura starting to close in on some of the lap times that she was able to run yesterday, as she was the only competitor to, well, first off, she's the only competitor to be in the sub 1:08 bracket, but she was in the sub 1:07 bracket, ran a 1:06.9 as her best time yesterday, now down to the 1:07.2 range. So Laura Hayes is continuing to increase her advantage that she already had from yesterday into Sunday here at the L.R.O.C. It is the ASF Cup next with 2 different run groups, 3 different classes that will take to the racetrack, and after this, only one more chance to improve your lap times for the L.R.O.C. They end the day right before we get into the podium celebration where we will be crowning this year's champion at the American Speed Festival. Megan Meyer back out on the racetrack after she went for that loop back at the beginning of the session. She is down to her best lap time, by the way, of the day, a 1:12.5. You got to be just increasingly impressed. I mean, she and Taylor Ferns have each been able to chop off 5 or 6 seconds of lap time and getting pretty close to the rest of their competitors. At the same time, Pippa Mann is coming in pit side, by the way, wrapping up her run in the L.R.O.C as she tries to do all she can to chase down Laura Hayes, who was the fastest yesterday, and Laura the fastest today as well. A 107.2, the lap time from Laura Hayes. Pippa Mann has found with her last lap the sub 108 bracket for the first time this weekend. Pippa Mann sitting at a 107.98 lap time. Taylor Ferns, a 111.1, her best time of the weekend, and the same can be said in terms of best time of the weekend for Megan Meyer at a 112.5. So everyone keeps getting faster. That is L.R.O.C session number 1 in the books, and it ends with the same top 4 that we had yesterday, and it ends in a similar fashion with Laura Hayes looking to run away with the competition. Pippa Mann has closed that gap in terms of pace, with Laura sitting at a 107.2, Pippa sitting at a 107.9, but after a 2.5-second gap was built yesterday, Pippa Mann is going to have to find a huge advantage this afternoon and find a lot of lap time if she's going to be able to come anywhere near matching Laura Hayes, who so far has dominated the competition. ASF Cup cars are going to be next down to the track here at the American Speed Festival.